The Tale of Rabbit and Coyote by Tony Johnston and Tommy DePaula. Author's Note. The Tale of Rabbit and Coyote from the town of Yucatan in Oaxaca, Mexico, weaves together several traditional threads of story. Tales of Brer Rabbit, the story of Coyote swallowing the moon, and the origin of the rabbit in the moon. In Mexico, the legend says it's a rabbit who lives there, not a man. The version of this tale that I read was illustrated in Spanish by painter Francisco Toledo, a native of Yucatan. I was drawn to it by the zest of the language and the echoes of Uncle Remus. American readers will certainly recognize the trickster rabbit and his exploits. To that audience, and to those who have never met Rabbit and Coyote before, I am glad to present these characters in a particularly Mexican form. Tony y Tommy son muy buenos amigos. The Tale of Rabbit and Coyote. One full moon night, Rabbit found a field of chilies. He was so pleased to see them, all glossy and green, that he jumped right in and ate the biggest ones. When the sun rose, the farmer came to check the chilies. They were scattered everywhere, and the biggest, glossiest, greenest ones were gone. Among the plants, he saw rabbit tracks. So what did he do? He made himself a beeswax doll, and he set that doll in the middle of the field to catch the chili thief. Conejo malvado. When night fell, Rabbit returned. He saw the farmer, made of wax, and crept up to say hello and to ask for some chili stew. But the wax farmer had nothing to say to Rabbit. Nothing at all. Rabbit was angry. He punched the farmer hard. His right paw stuck in the wax. Still the farmer said nothing. So he punched him once again. His left paw stuck too. Rabbit was fuming mad, but the wax farmer was silent as the stars. So he hauled off with both feet and walloped him. Ay, ay, ay! Then Rabbit was trapped for sure. When the real farmer came to check his trap, he was delighted to see Rabbit there. Que delicioso! How delicious, he said, rubbing his hands together. He popped the rabbit into a sack and took him home. Hola, cena. When he got there, he hung up the sack, built a fine fire, and set a pot of water to boil. Then he went looking for herbs. But where he was hanging in the sack, Rabbit saw Coyote coming. What are you doing there? Asked Coyote. This man wants me to marry his daughter, Rabbit said, but I'm too young. Why don't you take my place? Look, the water's ready to make hot chocolate. There will be a grand party. When the farmer came back and took down the sack, he saw Coyote inside it. You'll pay for this, he said. He popped Coyote into the hot water. Ay, ay, ay! Coyote flew right out of that water and took off after Rabbit. Conejo malvado. Hola, cena. He followed his tracks till he found him high in a jicara tree. I'm going to eat you now, said Coyote, for he was very furious. So what did Rabbit do? Well, he knew that Coyote couldn't tell the difference between the fruit of a jicara, hard as a rock, and the soft, sweet zapote. Why eat me? Asked Rabbit, when right here I have sweet zapote fruit instead. Well, toss me one, growled Coyote. Rabbit did that. He tossed down the jicara with all his might. Plonk! It struck Coyote and knocked him out cold as a cabbage. When Coyote woke up, he tracked Rabbit till he saw that furry scoundrel resting against a large rock at the edge of a hill. Te voy a comer, manito. All right, if I see this rolly rock on a hill, do you think of what might happen? Please don't eat me, pleaded Rabbit, leaning against the rock. Can't you see that if I don't hold back this rock, it will roll down and crush the world? Here, you hold it while I find some people to help us. Coyote believed Rabbit and took his place. Rabbit hopped off free as a bee. Hasta luego! Soon Coyote knew he'd made a mistake. He went after Rabbit, muttering all the while. When at last he found him, Coyote said, "Now I'll eat you." "But then who will take care of the little children in this little school?" asked Rabbit, pointing to a wasp's nest on a low tree branch. "Someone needs to give it a knock if a pupil tries to leave." What do you think will happen if Coyote knocks on the hornets on the wasp's nest? Is that what you thought would happen? Well, Coyote loved to give knocks, so he took the job. He lay near the branch and waited. When a wasp flew out, he whacked that wasp nest with a little stick, and all the wasps came after him. They chased him into a pond until only his nose stuck out of the water, so they stung that many times. Conejo malvado! It was pitch black when Coyote found Rabbit at the edge of the lake. Now he was really going to eat him. But Rabbit said, "Why eat me, Coyote, when I have been waiting for you so we can share the cheese that you see there?" Rabbit pointed to the moon's reflection upon the water. "Of course," explained Rabbit, "we must first drink all the juice of the cheese in order to eat the cheese itself." So Coyote began drinking the water to reach the cheese itself. After a time he said, "I simply can't drink more." "Just a few more sips," said Rabbit, "and you'll reach the cheese for sure." "Mas, mas, mas!" Coyote drank more. He drank so much that water poured from his ears. But then when he turned to discuss this with Rabbit, Rabbit ran away. "Me siento un poco raro." Coyote ran after him as best he could, but he was swollen as a sponge. Look at his big tummy full of water. Now Rabbit knew of a ladder that reached into the sky. He began to climb it, up, and he hopped all the way to the moon. Adios, amigo. Then he hid the ladder. Far below he saw Coyote looking for him in the sky, but try as he might, Coyote never found the ladder. Do you think someone could really climb a ladder to the moon? That is why, to this very day, Coyote sits gazing at the moon. Conejo malvado! And now and then he howls at it, for he is still very furious with Rabbit. And at the end, we have a glossary, and this helps us when we want to read words that we don't know. This happens to be a glossary of Spanish expressions, or things that people say in Spanish. That's what an expression is. They have the expression written in Spanish, then they have a pronunciation guide, so if you don't know how to speak Spanish, you can see how to say it correctly, and then they have the translation so we know what it is. Hola, cena. Hello, dinner. Mis chiles. My chili peppers. Conejo malvado. Wicked rabbit. Que persona tan pagejosa. What a sticky person. Te voy a comer, manito. I'm going to eat you, little buddy. Hasta luego. See you later. Más, más, más. More. Me siento un poco raro. I feel a bit strange. Adios, amigo. Goodbye, friend.